Welcome to the Geek Initiative podcast, hosted at geekinitiative.com. I'm Tara the Bard.
And I'm Khaleesi.
Today's topic is character stagnation, fictional characters, and you. Sounds scary.
Well, it sounds scary. Character stagnation. Ooh.
Yeah, character stagnation is rough. It's a process or feeling that usually occurs after playing or writing the same character for a long amount of time. If you feel your character is stuck in his or her progression, you may be experiencing character stagnation. And this is actually, as an experienced writer and role player, something I get asked about very frequently.
In this podcast, we'll focus on how to identify and treat character stagnation.
Character stagnation can happen to all sorts of characters, including role-playing characters in a text-based, live-action, or tabletop environment, stories, novels, or other works of fiction for those of you who write, and it's especially prevalent in trilogies.
Basically, anytime you've got characters, you might have a stagnation problem.
Yep, unfortunately. So, could this happen to you? Yes, it may. So why are you feeling stuck with your character? It could be because of events that happen in your story or in your game, maybe took your character in an unanticipated direction, and then you're not sure where to go.
And then sometimes either you're missing your real-life friends or your character's in-game friends that just don't come anymore. And you're feeling bummed and your character's feeling bummed, and you just get stuck in the sad kid in the corner mode.
Yeah, and then there's, of course, the all repetition, no reward problem. People that play MMOs are probably pretty familiar with this, like World of Warcraft, and you get to like level 14 or so, you kind of keep doing the same thing over and over, and you have to just keep kind of doing that grind before you can advance, and it's really annoying.
Sometimes you'll find restrictions based on character culture where something you really want to do with your character is just like, nope, absolutely forbidden, can't do it, never, not nobody, not know how.
Yeah, another thing that can happen is, in real life, you've changed a lot as a person. For example, I used to play an elf in online, and I kind of grew up, and she was still stuck in this, I'm going to watch all my mortal friends die phase, and it was sad. So I grew up, and the character didn't really have a reason or a way to progress, and that was unfortunate.
And then sometimes you just start to outgrow your RP group. I did play a character for several years in a particular cesspool of the internet that shall not be mentioned, but you just get tired of dealing with the drama, and it bleeds over into your character interaction, and it's just, ugh.
Yeah, and this, of course, you're probably thinking, hey, this has happened to me before, and we do actually have some examples in some of our favorite books, for example. An example of a character who overcomes it would be
Katniss Everdeen from The Hunger Games. Spoilers for the books, so if you haven't read the books, you might want to skip ahead a bit. In the books, you see Katniss having to deal with the fallout of being in 2 Hunger Games, watching her district get burned, walking over the charred remains of her friends, and...
It's kind of horrible.
Yeah, dealing with... Capital did horrible things!
This is the Wagner mob.
And just dealing with this really horrible stuff, and she gets to the point where she's basically skipping out on her meetings, hiding in the closets. But you do see that development, and she does overcome it.
That's awesome, because a lot of characters get stuck so long in that rut, and I'm going to say ahead of time, I love Frodo from Lord of the Rings, but he goes through a long period of not doing much character development. Like, he just has this desperation that lingers and lingers throughout the Two Towers, both the book and the movie. And it's cool that he has his buddy there with him, but overall he's like, it's just really depressing. I can only watch that or read it like once.
Oh, woe is me, this heavy burden that I must bear. Oh, it's so heavy. Oh, it burns. No, you cannot help me. It is my burden to bear. And I must bear it alone, and on and on and on.
But it takes so long. Like, too long didn't read, man. Like, that could have been 3 pages.
Teal deer running around Mordor everywhere.
Yeah.
It's like, you remember when Gollum's rolling on the floor like, that's basically us by the 7th one, watch. What is the noise that just came out of your mouth?
That was the Gollum noise. Whatever. Whiny hobbits. I'm over it. that middle of the struggle kind of leads to frustration, especially in writing. When you have a character on a long journey like Frodo is, it's that middle portion gets really bulky. And that leads to frustration in both writing or portraying or even, as I've described, reading about a character.
I don't think your readers will mind reading about them being sad so much as reading about them being the same variety of sad.
Yeah.
Like, Katniss goes through several phases of coping.
Yeah.
And as long as there's some sort of movement, it's still interesting to read. And
in roleplay, I mean, there is a bit of fun in playing that. It's just really annoying to play a character who feels like that for any length of time. I try and plan a conclusion. Like, how can she get through this? And actually, speaking of that, we should probably talk about what we do at our LARP games. We play characters. I play a character called Ciara, and we both LARP or live action roleplay at a game called Seventh Kingdom IGE in South Jersey. And you can learn more about the game at seventhkingdomige.com. I play a character called Ciara, and that's how she talks.
People are rolling their eyes already.
They are. And she is a human character, but she used to be a fairy. And she's experiencing some problems coping with mortality because she was immortal for a century and a quarter, pretty much. And that serious topic of mortality is really fun to play, but it makes people uncomfortable, and it's like such a serious topic. So it can lead to stagnation when there's no progression in how she deals with it. Because I'm like, she's been dealing with this for a century, you know? And so when the game gets dark, or when people depend on her to be happy, it can be a lot of pressure for the character.
Yeah. I play a character called Lady Ariana Vard. She's a character who hails from a kingdom that's sort of like Camelot meets Westeros. And she's heavily inspired by the Arthurian side of that setting. And this was my first LARP, so at the beginning, I was really shy and not at all comfortable with this whole LARPing business. Like, running around the woods, hitting people with, what? But eventually, I overcame that, and Ariana started to make her own path. But in the past year and a half, I feel that other characters have been acting in ways that are encouraging her to regress.
And that sucks. You know, our characters both have stagnation issues sometimes, and I think most characters, even if they're really well developed, go through that. So how do you solve that for your character?
It's not a terminal illness.
No. You can make new friends in and out of game, and just kind of rely on them to find new aspects of your character. My character actually looks up to a few different people. The envoy of her kingdom, Blair, would be one of her heroes. Her protector, Kane, would be another one of her heroes. And she really emulates them. Like, Blair did something cool, and then the next day, Ciara was like, I'm going to do the thing, you know, and then it happened. And she was like, I'm not going to let anyone talk to me that way. I'm challenging you to honor combat. And that happened, and it was pretty awesome.
And remember to reach out to the new players at your game. They can bring a lot to your character, and, you know, don't exclude people just because they're new, because that's mean.
Yeah. And if it's really, really bothering you, you can always step back and play another character for a while. Or if you're writing, you can step back and write another character for a while. And if you've ever read books like any of the Game of Thrones books, which is really called what?
A Song of Ice and Fire.
Yes, right. I'm not the real nerd here. Or if you're a nerd like me who prefers Wheel of Time, you'll notice that the authors skillfully switch different character perspectives. And I'm pretty sure that, or at least when I write things like that, I basically rearrange them in the document so that it breaks up the sadness that one character's feeling and switches to another point of view for another character. So as a writer, that's how I handle it.
Yeah, I'm sure there are days where George R. R. Martin is like, I don't feel like Tyrion today. I'm going to go write a Daenerys chapter.
Yes.
Or, I feel like I know things, so I can't write Jon Snow right now. If you're RPing on some forum sites, you can change to another game or to another character. I played a character called Nunnally for a really long time, but eventually the setting stagnated, and I felt like I'd explored her development as far as I could go there. So I took a pretty long break from the medium, and I recently came back with some characters who actually have some more development, like Elsa from Frozen or Morgana in the early part of Merlin. You can always have Elsa get emotional or Morgana have a nightmare or something like that to generate some plot.
Yeah. I've also done a lot of text-based RP, and my LARP character, Ciara, was actually initially a character that I played on Ye Old AOL,
Ooh.
for those of us who are old, and she actually reached a bit of stagnation in that world because she achieved all of her goals. And I like that in the LARP setting, she's still striving to achieve some of her goals. I think some of her goals, out of game, I believe some of them are probably pretty unattainable. And I enjoy, in and out of game, having to meet those challenges. They're not just handing her everything she wants, even though she might feel entitled to everything she wants. And for that reason, I'm just really glad that some of her goals in the LARP are lofty.
Yeah, that was one of the things I was coming up with.
Mm-hmm.
You know, taking back something for my family's house for
Yeah.
Ariana.
It's like a really positive way to move your character out of that stagnation. And another thing that you can do is, if your character experiences some sort of epiphany, like they have some sort of realization, or if you're in charge of the plot, or you're running a game for someone else, hey, now there's some new knowledge that changes things. For Ciara, that was actually meeting a specific character. We'll call him King Baylor, which is what he's actually called. And I had not planned for my character to swear to that particular kingdom or anything of the sort, and he just kind of walked in and she talked to him and she was like, bam, like, I'm going to be part of this kingdom, and that just happened. King Baylor problems. Now she's a King Baylor problem already.
Yep.
Or maybe a King Baylor solution.
Depends on the day.
Depends on the day and the situation. Another thing you can do is actually work with the person running your tabletop game or your LARP, or if you have a co-author, and you can actually describe the stagnation that you're feeling and describe what your character is feeling and ask for a different way to kind of move forward or suggestion. And if you are the game master or the writer, you can offer expanded options.
Sorry, frog in my throat. Our game offers multi-class and mythic path options so that you can either become multifaceted or you can delve deeper into that one thing that your character's really, really super special awesome at.
Yeah, and if you like tabletop role-playing games, if you're into D&D, that's why they offer some of the more, like the higher level specialized books, so your character can become like super expertise in one specific area, or multi-class, just like Seventh Kingdom lets you do.
Mm-hmm.
So, basically, now that you know how to solve these problems, how do you apply them? That's kind of the big question. I sort of feel like I lucked out, because just as my character was reaching this point of stagnation, a lot of staff and also PC-initiated plot kind of just like fell on her at the same time, as in within like 3 hours. It was like, bam, you killed your mom, but you didn't know. And like,
She killed her mother! She killed her mother!
Killed her mother, and she got blamed for like somebody dying on the field, and she's a healer, and then like her protector's not there. And so it was really bad and scary, and
she was high as a kite.
And she was like, yeah, she was kind of doing dream dust, and then she couldn't see her king either, and she couldn't see her brother, and it was like really sad. So she's pretty much completely broken now. She's no longer high, which is good. Not using drugs, that's always great for a character. But she does have kind of a family to rebuild her, and she's actually hanging out in the hinterlands in the woods with her protector, sort of broken, like, hey, I know I was kind of supposed to redeem you, but guess what? You're gonna have to redeem me now. And, yeah, so I'm kind of taking that opportunity to really highlight other aspects of Ciara, and one of my goals as a player and also for the character is to become more martial and more into fighting and stuff, and her protector is, of course, a fighter, so this is a good way to transition into her next development, which will be getting better in combat, doing more than just healing. So I really look forward to that, and I look forward to breaking the stagnation in a way that actually takes the character where I've been trying to get her to go.
And my character's been kind of stuck and frustrated for a while, and it kind of sucks to be a healer right now, so I'm going to start emphasizing other parts of the class, which also further the goal I mentioned earlier. And a word to the wise, be nice to your healers, or they're not going to be healers anymore.
Yeah, that's definitely true. it can get annoying, but I'm playing an alt, actually, that is not a healer. Partly because I'm like, I'm over it, I don't want to do this for a while, and then my character went to a protector, and she's like, make me not able to do this anymore. Because it was frustrating for her, and, expressing that frustration, and then being able to move on, I think is really key. Like, if your character keeps feeling the same way, but you're not expressing it to other people, or even just a character journal, like, you gotta put it out there. You have to talk about it. Even out of game, like, you gotta talk about it. Then you can start the process of breaking that stagnation and moving forward.
I feel like people tend to get stuck because they're sticking to one trope. Like, people expect that the healers are going to always be in that. The healers, the paladins, all those goody two-shoes, priestly characters are always going to be in the sacrificial trope.
That's true. And
whatever it is, and they'll just do it because, well, that's what insert the name of whatever the class is does.
Yeah.
But real people aren't tropes, and good characters shouldn't be either,
Yeah, so if you stick to being kind of multifaceted as far as your character development, then that's the best way to break the stagnation and to move forward and not stick to just, like, negative aspects of your character's life, or, like, the MMO you're in that's making you mad because they never fix the one thing you wanted to fix, etc. So that's kind of what we have for you today, and that concludes character stagnation,
fictional characters, and you.
For more exciting nerd content, head to geekinitiative.com. You can also check out the LARP Project on Facebook for more LARP-related podcasts. And a big thanks to Paul,
also known as Teslavich,
for his help and advice on podcasting. You can also check out these fascinating and immersive role-playing groups.
7th Kingdom IGE at www.7thkingdomige.com.
And the Askvengers Tumblr RP group. Yes, I said Askvengers. The address is askvengers-rpgroup.tumblr.com.
Music courtesy of Incompetech. Thanks for listening, and check back soon for more blogs and podcasts.